Thanks for coming out, everybody. I always wondered what this was going to be like, and for the first time, thanks to these guys, first time in 32 years, we're getting a sense of what this feels like. So thank you, all of you, for being here. I'll start with the band because I'm sure you'd rather be in a warmer place right now. But thanks for coming out. Thank you, Mr. Berg. I'd also like to thank our administration, Mr. Aldrich, Mr. Finko, Mrs. Sikora, and of course, Ms. Potter. Thank you for all of the support throughout the season. I also want to take time to thank Gretchen and Mandy and the entire cheerleading crew, I should say, for doing what they always do for us. And with COVID, obviously, we didn't get to see you much. Didn't get the post-game sweets like we usually do. But we appreciate the decoration and the yard signs and everything else. So let's give our cheerleaders a round of applause as well. Just a few comments before I turn it over to Parker and Aiden, and then they'll talk briefly. This is a special moment for all of us, but not only is this a moment for all of us that you see up here in front of you, it's a moment for all of you as well, because there's a lot of time and effort and money that goes into this, and we realize that, and we realize you also need a whole lot of luck as well. But I think what we showed, and as I've talked about quite a bit in the past week, is how much these guys have matured, not only as people, but as players on the court, and I think that was the main difference. In addition to the crowd that was in Princeton, that carried us through and started some really awesome chants at questionable times sometimes, maybe, as Mason was trying to make free throws, but we'll take it. But realistically, the maturity of these guys has changed so drastically, and I think in the past year they've shown how much they've grown up. And these guys are now ready to take a trip that a team from here hasn't taken for quite a while. And they're going to go and do everything they can to continue to make you, I should say, proud of them. As I told them last night, as we had a little bit of a heart-to-heart because I thought that their practice was a little bit flat, I said, you guys are a successful team today. You're going to be a successful team tomorrow. You're going to be a successful team on Thursday morning. And a team that all of us will remember forever. Although I've got a kid on the team, all of these guys are guys that I've spent a lot of time around. And in a way, not trying to steal them from anybody, but in a way I feel the same way about each and every one of them. These guys have gotten me through some challenging times, the most challenging times of my life, to be honest. And even though that communication between them and I was not direct and not out in the open, the thought of them and who they are and who they could be and the season that lied ahead of us was a motivating factor for me to keep my chin up, my head up, and keep grinding away with my life over the past year. So I want to thank each and every one of them for that part they played in my life. I also want to take time to thank my coaches, Coach Tom Ani, who has bled Navy blue for his entire life, and there is nobody like him. And we appreciate the time and effort that he's put into this. It's sometimes easy to kind of fly under the radar as assistant coaches, but I appreciate everything that Tom has done. Mickey, with COVID, kind of had him in a strange situation with a son who was a senior this year, not being able to be part of our pod, so to speak, because he ran the C team, but Mickey's always done it with grace. And in the conversations that we had this year, he totally understood where we were, and he handled it incredibly with a ton of character. So I want to thank Tom and Mickey for the job that they have done throughout all of this. Coach Please is here also. We'll talk very quickly about our younger coaches. I don't know about well, younger, I guess, since he was a former student of mine. He's still upset about the C I gave him in history. So if you got one from me, if you're a former student in the crowd, you're not alone. It probably started with that guy. But thank you, James, please. Thank you, Jaden Colba. Thank you, my daughter, Abby, who helped out this year as well. I appreciate all of the effort that you've put into our program as well. I can't forget about my wife, because if I didn't, I'd hear about it for quite some time. So, Carrie, I'd like to thank you for all of the support that you've given me. It's been quite a year. It could have been a whole lot better, but with your strength and constant reminders of the things that should be important to me, you obviously played a big role in making it through this past year as well. So thank you, Carrie. I told these guys I was going to keep it short. That's about as short as I can make it. So I'll turn it over to Parker and Aiden, and we'll finish this up so you can get warm, and we'll see you down there tonight if you can make it. If not, I know some people are streaming it if you're not interested in paying for it tonight. There's some places in town, including, I'll give a shout out to Palmer's right now because I saw that they were going to stream it for people. So we appreciate that support and the community support, the businesses support. We had some donations of meals in the last few days. And the last thing I want to do is thank our Hoop Club, all of the people involved in our Hoop Club, because in my mind, I don't know a lot of Hoop Clubs, but there can't be anybody better than ours. And that goes back a long, long time. We have been taken care of. What I asked for probably ends up leading to some of them scratching their heads sometimes, but they always take care of the guys that we have in the program, and we benefited from all of that. So thank you to everybody in the Hoop Club as well. And let's go get a W tonight.
Thank you guys for coming out here and supporting us, especially through this rough season. And thank you for just making it happen and keeping us healthy and safe. And hopefully we can get the W tonight. I'm going to introduce some of the guys. Here we got Mason Brown, Aiden McDonald, Trey Holmes, Jack Krasowski, Eli Erickson, Jaden Ford, Justin Truchirchich, and I'll let Aiden take the other half. Got Junior Hayden Burrow, Junior Zach Ruzich, Junior Martin Manning, Junior Josh Kibla, Junior Vinny the Microwave Carlson, Junior Jacob Genter, Junior Alex Chosich, Sophomore Joey Terzich, Junior Cal Manera, 8th grader Carson Brown, Freshman Ethan Ani, and Junior Harrison Law. Wanted to thank the cheerleaders, Kylie Husko, Julian Alexis Flash, Charlie Flacho, Ian Stitch, and Avery Rubin. Thank you guys for coming.
One person I want to make sure I take time to thank, she was on my list but I forgot, is Julie Lang. Julie, are you here?
You just pulled up.
I don't know if Julie is...
She's coming.
Julie is here. Wow, it's almost like we timed this, Julie. Inbox Julie Lane. She is the glue, literally and figuratively, the glue of our basketball team, without question. When I feel and she feels like I haven't been on these guys enough about COVID and social distancing and social gathering, we'll get Julie to all of a sudden yell and scare everybody from the sideline, just reminding them how important it is that this day right here that we're experiencing right now was entirely possible. So thank you, Julie. I I do want to thank all of you parents for putting up with me. A lot of my propaganda throughout the season. I know it wasn't easy. And as I told these guys from the moment we knew we were going to have a delay in our season, how this had to shake out. And it was all about today. To be totally honest with you, every time I talked to these guys and they were tired of hearing it, you were tired of hearing it through them, you were tired of seeing the parent square, student square messages, I totally get that. But ultimately, I think what we found out is when we committed to doing just what we were asking, it gave us a chance for today. And hopefully we're turning the corner on all of this. But I do want to thank all of you as parents and family people that supported those ideas, whether you believed in them or agreed with them or not. There was nothing other than getting these guys who have dedicated a good part of their lives, as they said in the video that we recorded and sent to the elementaries today, a good part of their lives to make this day a reality. And I can't thank you enough for putting up with all of that, because this has obviously been like nothing before, and hopefully nothing that ever comes after it. The last thing, Aiden kind of put a bug in my ear. I do want to thank all of the teachers and all of the staff here for allowing us to make some adjustments, not only to battle through our daily lives as teachers and distance learning and hybrid learning and face-to-face learning and everything in between, but allowing us in the administration the same, allowing us to postpone our return to school until this is all over. Because I know that was a tough question for us to ask and a difficult question to want to answer for a lot of people. But I do want to tell you how much we appreciate your flexibility. And as I passed on to these guys, when that email went out from Mr. Finko, and the staff responses to that email were overwhelmingly supportive of these guys, I told these guys how proud they should be of themselves, because people don't do those things for people they don't want to do those things for. And that's just a symbol of who these guys are. Obviously, we know they're good basketball players, and they're a great team. But the people that they are, the most important part of this whole thing, is what's truly special about them. And that is something I couldn't be more proud of these guys for. So before we tie it up and let the band lead us back on the bus, Ms. Potter, you got anything to say, or are you good?
Good luck, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's give